Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, December the 27th. Our money expert is with us today, Mel Zelenak. Good to have you here, Mel.
How are you doing?
Good.
And I hope you had a great Christmas
did.
and Happy New Year to you
Yeah, well,
as
we can still say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Okay.
We're in the holiday season.
Good.
But today we're going to talk about fees that all of us pay. Some of them are hidden fees. Some of them are fees that are right there in the open, but it's kind of irritating to have to pay some of these fees.
They sure are. So read the fine print on all offers, and we're going to talk about that as well, but that's related to this hidden fees. Here's an example I want to give you, and tell me what would you do here. Try this item for 7 or 30 days for only $3, and let's say the regular rate on this is $30, and you figure I'm paying 10% to try this thing, I'm going to do it. Any issue with that you can think of?
Well, as you said, you need to read the fine print. Just on the surface, no. You can, as long as it says that you can cancel at any time without any penalties or fees, it's okay. Go ahead and try it for, 30 days for $3?
How do you know that you can cancel at any time?
Well, you got to read what it says.
Precisely.
You got to read what it says. There's all those fine prints, and they do put it down there, and a lot of times people don't read the fine print.
Right. And also, Paul, you have to keep in mind that you might get something for a period of time. I can use the example of Sirius XM, where you could use it for a period of time, and they kind of lowball the price.
Right.
And if you forget, it's automatically renewed. Now, here's the issue that you need to watch for. If you're putting it on a credit card, keep in mind they have access to your credit card basically on a permanent basis. And one that's very popular is this, I'm going to call it Classmates. You go back into your high school and you find out what others are doing now. Mm-hmm. And it's a fee, and it's a very minimal fee. However, let me read you what the fine print says. This renews automatically on the card on file for the same term and will be charged to you the current full price for each renewal. The current full price.
Right.
So if you forget... And by the way, the full disclosure on it is you cannot retract this deal.
You cannot retract the deal.
The deal, unless you give them 60 days notice before the end of the term.
Okay. So read the fine print on all of it. The other thing, we've got a lot of fees that we pay with our cell phones. Mm-hmm. When you look at the bill, they'll give you a price, and then you see all the added fees. Well, there's really nothing you can do about that, though, is there?
I don't think so. Sometimes you can complain to credit card companies and get some fees taken off that way. Use your judgment on this. To me, it's a tough call and it's a frustrating call. But if somebody, for example, fees in some areas are getting to be so high, sales taxes and state taxes and whatever. And you have to think twice about whether you really even want to buy it in that community, buy anything in that community for that reason.
Because some stores will have a development fee added to your receipt. And it's plainly spelled out on there, and you don't realize it until you've already bought. Mm-hmm.
And that's another little bitty fee, but you're paying it on every transaction. I purchased something locally recently, and the total charges on it were about 15% more than what my actual bill was.
Yeah, because of the extra fees. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about airline fees?
Sure. Actually, let's talk specifically about the airline lounges now.
Okay.
And the point I want to make here, my second point is, if you want to renew anything, be absolutely certain that the terms of the original agreement have not changed. And you gave me a story about how United has changed their policy.
I think they all have.
American has, and Delta has, and they're all moving in that direction.
Yes. And it's really when one does with airlines, when one does it, they pretty much all do it. Mm-hmm. And I still think that if you fly enough, the airline lounges are a pretty good deal because you get your food and drink there.
All right, let me ask you a question. You fly United, I fly American. Theoretically, let's say you're going to the same place and the American fare is $100 cheaper than the United fare. You won't be able to use your United lounge, Paul.
No, you can't. You can't because you have to be flying on United.
So what are you going to do in that case?
Well, then you have to. You have to, if you want food, you're going to have to pay for food. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, that's something for you to think about.
That's right.
It's something for you to think about.
And they're fairly expensive. Now, there are two possible remedies on airline lounges. One is called Priority Pass, and there you get access to many different lounges. I think that's on
American Express.
American Express offers it, but so does Chase, by the way, and another one. The American Express one is a really good credit card because they have their own lounges too. The problem is they don't have any in O'Hare, so that doesn't help.
Again,
us
read all. You got to read everything. Read it all. We got about a minute left here, Mel.
Okay. Google everything for oftentimes excellent consumer information. You do that. Is there any problem with Google?
This is a trick question.
No, well, the only real problem is sometimes they gather quite a bit of information about you.
Oh, about you, yes.
And are there any remedies to that for your browser?
I think you can there's something you can do, and I should know this, that you can turn off your public information so it remains private, or refuse to give the information.
Yeah, and there are browsers that will do that automatically for you. Firefox, for example, is one that I like to use. There's other DuckDuckGo.
You know what? I got to just tell you this story real quick before we go. I was shocked the other day. I got an email from Google, and I didn't realize that they were tracking every place that I went in the last month. They sent me an email with every location that I had been to, where I had flown, what restaurants I ate, at what hotel I stayed, and then where I walked from one hotel to the other.
I'm curious, how did they find that information?
I guess that was all tracking on the phone. That was all, and that happened to me this month. Mel, we're out of time, but you'll come back in the new year again?
I'll be there again.
Okay.
Happy New Year again.
Same to you, Mel Zelenak. I appreciate it. Monday, well, we're going to have some more information Monday. I don't have it written down in front of me what we've got, so be sure to tune in then. Have yourself a good weekend and drive carefully. Pepper P, Missouri.edu. Something you'd like to hear or see. Bye-bye.